Baruch Haba and welcome everyone. Sorry about that. Had a bit of a break. It was great to be back. It's great to be back on Brachos Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. Brachos Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph. We are approximately Mishnah. Tanu Rabbanan. Rabbis taught us. Good morning, everyone. Tanu Rabbanan. Maisa b'makam echad. There was a story. We're starting off with a fascinating story, maybe one of the most famous stories in Shas. It's up there with the famous. Shaya Orud. There was a certain Orud. Orud, Rashi says, is a cross between a snake and a turtle. Min hanachash v'atzavba. It's a crossbreed between a snake and a turtle. A tortoise, whatever, I'm not sure what itself. And it's incredibly poisonous, it's incredibly dangerous. It's raining here, so there might be bad connection. I don't know what's going on. Let me know if the connection's good, if it gets better. So it's a cross between, there's this orad, it's incredibly poisonous, and this orad, v'hamazikas abrius. This orad is killing people. It's being mazik. No one could go near it. It's busy killing everyone. So what do you do? So they go to the rabbi. You go to Reb Chaim ben Daisa. They come to Reb Chaim ben Daisa. They said, Reb Chaim ben Daisa, what should we do? There's this poisonous snake, orad, turtle, snake thing that's busy killing everyone. Herelias Chairai, show me the hole of this snake. Show me what are you talking about? Show me the hole. Heru as Chairai. They showed him the hole. So what does Reb Chaim ben Daisa do? Reb Chaim ben Daisa, he put his foot on the hole. And Nosan Akovai al Piachar, he put his heel on top of the hole. Good morning. He put his foot in the hole. What else would you do, right? Yatsa, the snake came out, this orad, this poisonous creature, comes out, v'noshchai, and bit Reb Chaim ben Daisa. Umeisais orad, who died? Reb Chaim ben Daisa didn't die. The orad died, the snake died. So not like Seifov, he put this snake thing on his shoulder. Vavila Beis Medrash, and he takes it into the Beis Medrash. He walks to shul with it, with his big snake or whatever it was, this poisonous creature that no one could deal with. He walks into shul and he says, Amalahem. He walks into town. He says, look at this. Rubanai, ein orud memis, ala chet memis. This venomous snake, this venomous orud, the most dangerous creature, it doesn't kill. Sin is what kills us. If you have no sin, like me, Reb Chaim ben Daisa is saying, right? I've got no sin. You can't harm me. No, not Gaiva. He had no sin. He had nothing to worry about. He said, it's not haughty. You know you got no sin. Just like a person knows that a guy knows he's tall, a guy knows he's short, a guy knows he's smart. The guy knows he's never sinned. Reb Chaim ben Daisa, he knew he never sinned. So he was at zero risk from this snake. He said, look, he bit me. So this is what he said. This is the interesting part. So, sin is what kills. Poison doesn't kill us. So when he walked to the Beis Medrash, what did they say? They said, woe is a person that meets the orad, that meets one of these dangerous, venomous snakes. Woe is to the serpent that meets Reb Chaim ben Daisa. In other words, it's more dangerous for this venomous creature to meet Reb Chaim ben Daisa than for a person to meet the orad. So that's the story. Okay. The Gemara mentions the story because the Gemara spoke about whether you have to stop davening Shemona Esra if there's a snake crawling up your leg. Thank you very much. Shkoyach. Okay, we're up to the Mishnah on Lam Gimel Amud Aleph. New sugya, brand new sugya. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, Maskirin Gvureis Kishamim B'Tchias HaMeisim. You speak about the strength, the Gvura of rain, B'Tchias HaMeisim. In the second bracha, which talks about Tchias HaMeisim. We talk about how Hashem's going to let it be soon. All the people who are dead are going to come back to life.
Very soon.
Very soon. I stand correct there. Let me be very soon. So, in the bracha of Tchias HaMeisim, that's when we talk about Geshem. You say, Mashiv Rachamei the Geshem. We praise Hashem for bringing us rain. Praise Hashem for the rain. So, V'she'ela, and we ask for rain, B'brichas Hashanim. In the bracha of Brichas Hashanim, that's when we ask for rain. V'avdala, when do we say the bracha of Havdalah? When do we say after Shabbos with Mavdil? When do you do that? In Chayin and Adas. Rabbi Kiva says, bracha Arviyas. Rabbi Kiva says, we make a new bracha for Chayin and Adas, for Havdalah. Bracha of we say in the bracha of Vayda, that's when you put in Atachan Antanu. So it says gemorah. Maskin Gvurus Kishamim. We remember, Maskirin, for Lashon we remember, Gvurus Kishamim, how amazing Geshem is, the strength of Geshem. My timer, why? Why do we say it in the second bracha of Tchias HaMeisim? Right at the beginning of Shemona Esrei, the second bracha, There's a sample of what we get from rain. Water.
Look outside and see what we get from rain.
Yeah, so Maskin was shown. My time on Rav Yosef. Why do we say it Tchias HaMeisim? Oh, Shalom Rav Joe. Good to have you.
Good to be back.
My time on Rav Yosef. Mishum Sheshkula Tchias HaMeisim. Since rain is as valuable, it's the same preciousness as being Tchias HaMeisim, as reviving the dead. That's why we say Mashiv Rachamei the Geshem Tchias HaMeisim, to teach us or to instill in us that rain is as important as Tchias HaMeisim, as much of a miracle. That's what it's saying. Sheshkula, the level of miracle you need for rain is as great as to bring someone back to life. Reviving the dead. Is that how you say it? Reviving the dead?
Reviving the dead.
Yeah?
Sure.
So, it's raining outside. You should look outside. You should see a miracle. It's rain. This is giving us life. It's the craziest miracle. Rain comes down. There's so much goes into that. It's like Tchias HaMeisim. So, it says the gemorah.
Yeah.
That's why they stuck it in Tchias HaMeisim. So before you go further, so some explain why is rain like Tchias HaMeisim? Because there's a couple of mahalchim of it. Two ways they understand it. Rain is like Tchias HaMeisim because just like Tchias HaMeisim, people that are dead are going to come back to life. So Tchias HaMeisim is giving life to people. So rain gives us life. We live off rain. That's giving us life. That's why it's like Tchias HaMeisim. All life comes from rain. That's the first malach. The second malach, I saw someone says, I can't remember who, is that Tchias HaMeisim, this body is buried in the ground, and they're going to come up. They're going to come back to life. How does rain work? The food we get is we plant a seed in the ground, and it rains, it comes out. So that's pshat, why it's like Tchias HaMeisim. The rain is basically going to take stuff that's in the ground and take it out of the ground. That's why we say Tchias HaMeisim in second bracha. Fascinating pshat. Omar Rav Yosef. Sorry, one second. Why do we ask for rain in the bracha of Birchas Hashanim, Baruch Aleinu Shana
What
Zayis.
should we ask for?
Good question. Good question. He doesn't say. The question is, why do we say that? That's first of all. Why do you say that? You're saying, wherever you put it, you say, why put it there, right? That's your kasha?
Okay.
Amr Yosef Mipteichi Parnasa. It's sustenance. Rain is sustenance. That's why we put the bracha for rain in the request for rain and the request for when we ask Hashem for sustenance, so we ask Hashem also for rain. All part of the same thing. So what? Now the next question is Havdalah b'chaynen hadas my timer. Why do we say Havdalah in the bracha of chaynen hadas? In the first bracha, we ask for wisdom. Das is wisdom. So why do we say Havdalah in the bracha of chaynen hadas? This is a fascinating machlekes, fascinating sugya over here, rather. Gemorah says, Amar Yosef v'teishi chachma kavod b'bichas chachma. Technically, being able to distinguish between Kodesh, Chol, Shabbos, and weekday takes a certain amount of Chachma, intellect. So that's why it's in the bracha of intellect. It's an intellectual activity. It's not physical. You don't need to eat. You don't need to smell. You don't need to see anything. It's intellectual. Now it is weekday. So when should you do an intellectual activity like that? In the first bracha that's discussing intellect. Rabbanan Amino, V'teich Shichol. Since we're talking about the fact that now it's weekday, so we put it in the first bracha that's a weekday bracha. What's the first weekday bracha you say? The first bracha you say during the weekday that you don't say on Shabbos is Atachel Adam Das. We don't say all the brachas on Shabbos. So the first thing you say, you should say on the first bracha that's a weekday bracha, you should throw in the weekday bakasha for Chayin and Das, right? That's what he's saying. So it says Gemara, Amar of Ami, now that we're discussing what the first thing we ask for in the week is, what's the first thing we ask for? Deya, for wisdom. The first thing we ask Hashem for is Deya, wisdom. I just a quick akdama. What's the difference between Chochma, Bina, and Das? I don't know exactly what the right way to translate Deya is. But Chochma means knowledge. Literally, knowledge. You have Chochma. Chocham knows a lot. He might be a complete imbecile. He might be a complete fool. But he's a Chocham. He knows a lot. Bina is Mavin Dov B'techtova, to be able to understand things. To say, if this is like this, then that's like that. Where does that power come from? That comes from understanding what's causing something. So if the reason why it's raining is because it's windy, that means if it's windy, something else matters. You're taking the ability to analyze something. That's bina. Understanding. To understand the knowledge you have. You might know a lot of stuff, but you not understand any of it. To understand people, to understand what makes people tick, that's bina. Why did you do this? That's bina. If you did this now, then maybe you'll do the same thing later. Or you do the opposite later. That's understanding. So what's das? I mean, easily to say it's like a connection between chokhmah and bina, but really what das is wisdom, is applying your chokhmah and your bina in your life, living it. It's basically wisdom. It's having a complete understanding of the entire world around you. It's das. It's to actually understand everything, to know everything and to understand everything. It's understanding and knowing everything and basically living your life based on that, or doing what you're supposed to do. That's what the wise man is. The wise man understands. He sees the bigger picture. He knows everything and he understands everything. And then he's able to have das, to see what he's supposed to do, right? How to act, how to behave. That's what das is. So you can have tremendous understanding, but if you don't know anything, you don't understand anything because you don't have the depth in anything.
It's processed.
It's process chokhmah and bina.
It's processed bina is das. Right? You can give food to a baby, right?
Yeah.
How much you're going to give? I mean, whatever. You got to put it together.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. That's how I understand it.
I think the easiest way to say it is wisdom. Guys, levels of wisdom, however you understand that. So, the Gemara says, the first thing we ask for is das. At the das. The first thing we say is, thank you, Hashem, you give mankind
Wisdom.
awareness. I think the technical word is awareness. Das means awareness, to be aware. To be aware of everything, to be aware of your environment, right? It's kind of awareness and wisdom. It's a similar idea. To be aware of the reality. So the Gemara says, the reason why I'm getting into this because this is the sugi of the Gemara. So the Gemara says, Gedoyle Deya Shenana B'tchilas Bracha Shechol. Day is so important to understand the awareness, wisdom. It's the first bracha. Day is so important. Wisdom is so important. It was given between the two names of Hashem. Shenema, Ki Keil Deyos Hashem. For God is the deist, the wisdom, Hashem. And again, the Shem Hashem. So the Deyos is put between the two names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Keil and Hashem. And then the Gemara says something else. If someone doesn't have wisdom, someone doesn't have das, it's forbidden to have compassion on him. Shenema ki lo im am binaisu. Al ken lo yerachamenu eseyu. Since we didn't have bina, we didn't have das, we didn't have wisdom, therefore Hashem didn't have rachmanis on us. So the Gemara says a massive chiddush here. It's forbidden to have compassion on someone that doesn't have das. So the Mefarshim explain, we're not talking about someone who's born without das, an animal. You're supposed to have compassion on an animal. You're supposed to have compassion on v'racham al kol ma'asav. Hashem has rachmanis on everything. But someone that could have das, but he decides to blow it.
Like a stupid person.
He's not born stupid, but he acts stupid. He decides to ignore the MS. That person, it's forbidden to have compassion on him. And the Mefarshim, there's a slew of Achronim give explanation why. Why is it forbidden to have compassion? First of all, maybe it's just not admitted to have compassion. Why is it forbidden? So the first pshat is it's forbidden because when you have compassion on someone that doesn't have das, he's just going to be upset with you. Das means he'll recognize you helped him. He's going to be grateful. If he doesn't have das, he's just going to think you're out to get him. He's going to be bitter with you. He's going to try and take vengeance on you because you helped him. Now they say no good deed goes unpunished, right? What does it mean? Most people, you help them out. Don't do it. It's dangerous, right? They don't have das. They're like, they feel guilty. They're like, oh, you think you're better than me? And before you turn around, the guy's your enemy, right? That's what happens. Instead of appreciating, saying, wow, you're a nice guy, trying to help me out. Most people that don't have das, they can't have a cross stay. That's the first shot. The second shot is because they're going to be mazik you. Why is it also racham on him? He'll be mazik you, and if he's not mazik you, you give $1 million to a guy who's lying on a drug dealer. What's he going to do? He's going to buy drugs with it. He's going to go give it to all his friends. You think you're helping him out? He's going to be mazik you. That's the first shot. He's going to damage you. He's going to harm you in response, and he's going to harm other people. You're supporting, like, you go ahead and you give money to terrorist organizations. You have compassion on these poor, I don't know what. These poor Palestinians, they're going to go ahead and use the money to be terrorists, right? Yeah, you think you're helping out Palestinians? You're creating terrorism. You're not helping anyone out. You're making the situation worse. The fourth pshat is, beautiful pshat, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is punishing them for a reason, that they should snap out of it. He's trying to help them, like, grow up, man up. Be mature. Don't be a freaking terrorist. And here you are, you're going to support them. So what happens? They're getting their food. We could go ahead and be terrorists still, right? They think like, look, people are taking care of us. You're supporting them. You're helping them out. So it's forbidden to have rachmanis on these people. You think you're doing a good deed by helping out some poor starving Gazan. You're not. It's a terrible thing. You're making the situation much worse. You're dragging out their pain for decades instead of for weeks. That's the problem. So also racham mishen das. Another pshat they say is because the guy who doesn't have das, he doesn't have any wisdom, he doesn't know what's good for him. He's running around sabotaging everything he does, ruining everyone he meets, ruining his own life. And here you are, you help him out, you give the guy a lift, you just make his life worse because everything he does is for negative for him. So you help this guy out. You're making his life worse. You think you're helping him. Really, you're making the guy's life much worse. The best thing for him is the guy would suffer. You didn't help the guy out. You don't give him a job. But that way, maybe he'll snap out of it. Maybe he'll realize that there's a God, then there's a way to serve him, and there's a way to act, there's a way to behave, instead of thinking like, life is free, do whatever you want.
Well, look at Paro, for instance. Right?
Oh,
Paro was this big, strong Paro, but he had to be given zets, 10 zets,
Yeah.
to see that Hashem.
Yeah. I mean, Hashem has patience for everyone. All the makas in Yeshivs Mitzrayim, we learn now, it's all about being makar the goyim, that the goyim, the mitzvah, should go ahead and see that there's Hashem. Hashem's in the world and he's there, so go ahead and serve him. Do what's right. He gives them chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, and some of them actually do accept Hashem, and they leave Mitzrayim with Yisrael. They leave Mitzrayim. They're called the Erev Rav. Many Egyptians left Mitzrayim with Israel, and now they're part of Judaism. They're called the Erev Rav. We blame them for all sorts of things, but they came out. Hashem wanted them. Hashem gives everyone a chance to see the truth, to see the emes. That's what the Mak's all about. That they should see it, and that they should want to join Klal Yisrael. And many did. They joined Klal Yisrael, and they left the Erev Rav Gam, Erev Rav Aleitam. It's interesting that ChatGPT told me this. It was his svara. I'll tell you. But why is it? I asked him, what's the shurish? Why is there so much anti-Semitism in the world? Is it because, this is what I asked, is it because instead of appreciating, saying, listen, you gave us the idea of monotheism, no one disagrees. Judaism gave everyone monotheism, right? They were all the Muslims were all worshipping 1,000 idols, and the Romans were worshipping millions of idols. Only the Jews were monotheistic. So what greater gift is that to the world that we taught you monotheism? So I said, is it because we gave them monotheism, and instead of having our Stave being grateful to Judaism, so they got to be like, either you're grateful, or the opposite, to cover up the fact that you have to be grateful. So you say, right? So it says back to me like, yeah, it's a deep psychological thing that if someone does you a favor, either you appreciate it, or you feel like that he's better than me, and you feel guilty, and you have to reject it. So he came back to me and he said, more than that, hold on, it came back to me, more than that. We gave them, the Christians at least think we gave them God. So they have to come and say, no, you killed God. It's even more than that. Not just you didn't give it to us, you killed him. That's the ultimate opposite of appreciation. It's to blame us for taking away God, so to speak. Ridiculous. Go ahead.
I think it's a little bit different. I think deep down everyone realizes that Hashem is Hashem, not this Jesus guy, and not whoever. But there's one God, and we're jealous because you chose God, and God chose you. So I think deep down everyone realizes that there's this mahalach.
Okay.
And
I hear that.
it's just jealousy thing.
Someone here comments that Zoroastrianism isn't older than Judaism. Zoroastrianism, first of all, it's not older than Judaism. Avraham Avinu lived way before, and that's where Judaism started. And second of all, they don't believe in monotheism. Monotheism means that there's one God who's in complete control of everything. Not that there's like some type of evil Satan that can beat God. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. God is monotheism means that he's all powerful. He's in charge of everything. The Satan is his angel. He listens to Hashem. And there's psukim in Tanakh all over the place that confirm this, right? This is not my opinion. This is Tanakh. So that's what Gemara says. And the Gemara says, we're talking about Das still. It's a Gishmak Sugya. So Gemara says, so G'dayla Deish, not the Baruch Hashem, Amar Vami G'dayla Deish, not the B'ishtay Yesus Shtema, K'ad Hashem. Okay, so Amar Belazar, Gadol Mikdash Shenasna Ben Shtei Yisiyais. The base of Mikdash is so great, it was also put between two names of Hashem. Shenema Palt Hashem Mikdash Hashem. So just like wisdom is between the two names of Hashem, also the base of Mikdash, the temple, was placed between the two names of Hashem. So it seems to me there's some type of connection between Das and the Mikdash. It says in the pasuk, it says Kel Deus Hashem. The Das is between the two names of Hashem, and it also says Pa'alta Hashem, Mikdash Hashem. So the Mikdash is between the two names of Hashem. Hashem, Palta Hashem, Mikdash Hashem. So Mikdash is also between the two names of Hashem. So the gemorah says, Amarodim, if there's a person with wisdom, with true wisdom, Kilu Nivne Beis Hamikdash B'Yamav. It's as if the temple was built in his days. As if there's a temple. If you have das, it's as if you built the temple. So there, Nidde Ben Shtei Yosiyos, and Mikdash Nidde Ben Shtei Yosiyos. Just like Deya is written between two Yosiyos, two names of Hashem, the Beis Hamikdash is also written between two Yosiyos. Now, just two interesting nakudas. Now, we spoke about why did we start davening with das. So, I always say this pshat, and I saw someone actually says this now, that why is the first thing we say we ask for das? Sorry, Rabbi, it's very noisy when you do that. Everyone can knows how to take down their own chair. No one has an issue with it. Shkoyach. No, everyone's able to do it by themselves afterwards. Thank you. So it just comes across on here like thunder. The loudspeaker picks out like really loudly. So anyway, so the first, why is das the first thing we ask for in davening? Because the gemorah says osel l'rachei u'mishein le'das. You're not allowed to have compassion when someone does have das. So before you start davening, ask Hashem, give me health, give me money, give me everything you want, right? First thing you ask for is give me das. Because if you don't have das, so Hashem can't have rachmanos on you and give you what you're asking for. So the first thing you ask for is das, that I should appreciate what Hashem gives me. Now, that I appreciate what Hashem gives me, now I can ask. He's going to give me, I'm going to give. Oh, now he's able to give me. That's the whole nukudah here. You first ask for das. Once you have das, now you can daven. Now Hashem can give you whatever you want. So, it's a sweet nukudah. Why we start with das? So, we'll wrap it up over here. A couple more lines. The other thing I wanted to say is that why was the Beis Hamikdash put in the chelik of Binyamin? We just finished these parshas of Binyamin. Why is the Beis Hamikdash in the chelik of Binyamin? Right? It's a chiddush of mine, but you could say because since Binyamin,
Is that about it?
yeah, the Binyamin's chelik sticks into Yehuda's chelik, and the Mokum Mizbeach is the chelik of Binyamin. So why is the Mokum Mikdash in the chelik of Binyamin? You might not like this. Tell me if you like the pshat. Since Binyamin was able to live amongst his brothers, and you saw how jealous they were of Yosef, and Yosef, Sachakol, told him he has a dream. Yaakov was much more protective of Binyamin. Yaakov didn't let Binyamin go down even when his whole family's life was at risk. Yaakov's like, no, my precious Binyamin, right? I'm not sending him. So they had much more reason to be jealous of Binyamin than Yosef, technically. But Binyamin had the das to be able to live with his brothers. They had no jealousy for him. Ad keikach, to the extent that when Yosef says he stole the gviyah, he's going to be my eved, they jump in and they said, no, take me instead of him. In other words, if they would have hated him, they would have said, you know what, this guy finally got it, right? It's Midrash Shamayim, what can you do? We know he's a bad guy, we know he's a Rasha. This Pari wants to take his life, take him as an eved, what can we do? Like, there's nothing we can do. But he had the das to be able to live amongst his brothers who had tremendous jealousy from Yaakov Avinu. That he gave them special treatment. And they did away with Yosef. They sold him out. And here they loved Binyamin, even though Yaakov gave him even more, specialty because he was the only living son of Rachel. So he had extra special love for him. He had that level of das. He was able to live with them. And it could be that's what went wrong with Yosef's plan. Yosef's whole plan was, let's see if they love. Someone asked him, if they did tshuva, so why weren't they forgiven? You see that, so the Malchus, they weren't forgiven. So why weren't they forgiven? Yosef did this whole test, right? He wants to see if they're gonna have compassion on Binyamin. And they did. But what he didn't take into chesed was that Binyamin totally manipulated them. He was able to live with such das. They would have rachmanos on him, they would care for him, and not have this jealousy. That was l'chayra, that's why his plan didn't work, even though, and they never really, the Achim never really had charata for selling Yosef. They just said, why didn't have Rachmanos? They never said, oh my gosh, Yosef was really this crazy tzaddik. His dreams were nevuah. We got it all wrong. They never said that. They never said we got Yosef totally wrong. He was right, we were wrong. They just said, how come we didn't have compassion on him? We saw our brother crying, we should have compassion on him. They never said that Yosef was right, that we were totally wrong. We blew the whole thing, it was nevuah, it was all min Hashem. And at the end, the Choshesh is going to take the common from them. They never realized that Yosef was much greater than them. They never realized that. So why did they have compassion on Binyamin? Because Binyamin was the Baal Das. He was able to hold it all together. That was Binyamin's godless. Okay, Shkoyach, we'll end up there, have a wonderful day.
What was the tribe that got wiped out? Wasn't that